So up top, you have your main menu. You have your, I'm sorry, you have your tempo. You can tap your tempo. You can put a swing on your entire track, which I really don't use that much. Quantize is a producer's best friend, although there's a lot of guys like Booney Mayfield, they use no quantize to their advantage. There's a metronome that you can turn off and on while recording or playing. And auto enable when recording. Yes, I keep that on so that when I record, the metronome automatically kicks in. Okay? Of course, you know what this is. This is the play button. I would play this default beat, but I just recorded a sound into it, and so I'm not going to do that. Alright, you know what the circle is. That's the red button. When you get ready to record, you get that. This little triangle on the bottom of the screen is a really intuitive menu. Depending on the pad that you have highlighted. The pad that you have highlighted will determine what this menu will do. And so and depending on which bank you're in also. And so if I'm in A, I can determine how long the length of the pattern is going to be. But you have to be careful when you select that. If you have 16 bars recorded and then you select 2 bars, you're going to erase, you know what I'm saying, 14 of your bars. So you can mute a track from here or mute pads from here. So you just click mute. This works really well if you're tracking out to a DAW and you only want your kick, you only want your snare. It's really time consuming. I'll have a workaround for that too, but you have to pay attention. And subscribe. Alright. So yeah, I have everything muted here. I shouldn't have done that. On iMachine 2, and I'm alluding to that because I want you guys to really get this, you can change the color of the pads and change the color of the groups and step record. It's really cool. So I'll close out the mute sequence area. You also have a history window to go back and forth if you really mess up your mix. Just make sure that you don't exit out, because when you exit out of this app, you will lose your history. Not so much so on iMachine 2. And so it really depends on what you're trying to do. Oh, I'm losing myself out of the screen. Alright. So in the main menu, top left corner. Oh, I forgot one more thing. From the mixer screen, you can also mute banks from the bottom. Alright. And just to go over the effects one more time, you can set your mixer level of how much you want the effect on and how you want the envelope to operate. Just really quick. I'm not going to experiment with that. I'll show you guys that yet. So, in the main menu, you have New, Open, Save, Export, Help, About, Expansion Store. First thing I want to go into is the expansion store. Once you go into the expansion store, you can see that they have a lot of sounds that you can purchase. I actually have all of these banks purchased already. I just need to download them. I needed to save space on my phone. So they actually offered, and you're going to kick yourself if you missed out on this, they offered every bank for $5.99 when they dropped iMachine 2. It was only for like a short window, and I was like, thank you, Jesus. You dig? But anyways, in the expansion store, I'll play. You can preview before you buy. So that's a platinum bounce, and you get all of the sounds that are included inside of that particular bank. This beat is called Track Swag. right, so if you and you can listen to that and tell that, you know, all of those sounds are already mixed and mastered. And so that's really a great function. In the about section, it gives copyright information for the app, Native Instruments, how to contact them, email information, the credits to the guys who worked countless hours so that you can have this wonderful app. All right, working my way from the bottom up, I guess. Help function is a menu so that you can find the bland, and this is nothing against the people at Native Instruments, but I think that paper manuals are really bland. I myself take time out to read them so that I can learn to tweak things my own way, but I do realize that a lot of manuals are bland, and that's why I do these tutorials. Okay, so I'm not going to go to the export. Well, actually I will. So with the export function, you have a couple different things that you can do. The main thing is iMachine exporting all of the samples, or just the audio, or exporting the audio and all of the samples. It exports the MIDI to the iMachine software only. You can't get MIDI any other way, so forget about that. Get that out of your head. So basically you give it a name, you export it, and then of course there's a process that you go through. I don't use Machine, sorry guys. If you use Machine, this is not the tutorial series for you. This is for people who use the app, and there's a workaround for people who use Pro Tools or Sonar or Cubase or Fruity Loops, or I don't know, the Sony, I think Sony has this really dope software. I can't remember the name of it. But anyways, so there's a lot of them out there. Acid. Yeah, Acid. Sony Acid. Whatever. Anyway, so there's a SoundCloud export. In SoundCloud, or on the SoundCloud window here, codec, you can choose to make your track public or private. I really utilize this a lot. You can turn the Twitter notification on to let your followers, your Facebook followers, see that you posted something new on SoundCloud. Alright, so that works really well with, and I'll go ahead and go into some of the workaround stuff. That works really well with exporting files for working in your DAW. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. If you go into your tracks, if you go to the mixer and you mute the tracks that you don't want to track out, and you go to the main bank that you want, and you mute all of the pads that have sounds that you don't want to track out. Let's say we just want our kick. We export only our kick. And that's an awesome way to get your sounds to a place where you can manipulate them individually. So keep that in mind. Also, in the export function, you can, you can give your project a name, track name, blah blah blah. Okay, so that's the export function. Of course, you have a save codec. I recommend that you use this as often as you're recording. Save early, save often, even Jesus saves. You dig? That's my motto. And if you record something new, your app crashes, somebody calls you, you forgot to turn off the notifications, blase, blase, you lose. So just keep that in mind. Don't be a loser. Alright, so in the open codec is really cool. Pay attention to the bottom left hand of the screen. I'm sorry. Bottom left hand of the screen. There's a Native Instrument icon, and then there's a user icon. And so in the Native Instruments icon, you have all of the tracks that come loaded with the app itself. Okay. In the user area, you have all of your individual created beats and tracks. Hit the native instruments icon.